Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Mark with the Innovative Agent, and today we have David Winn with us. He is with the World Financial Group, or as we refer to, WFG. And I wanted him here so he could talk to us about the opportunity that WFG provides for insurance agents in order to really make unlimited income selling insurance. So with that, David, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
So David, do this. Briefly tell us about who WFG is and why insurance agents should consider partnering with WFG to grow their business.
Yeah, well, I guess just to answer who WFG is, it stands for World Financial Group, and we are the world's largest distributor of financial services products. And we've grown exponentially over the last 5 years, and we're actually going to be issuing out over $1 billion worth of commissions to our agents this year. So that's over $3 million per day. So just that kind of growth that we've seen, just exponential growth over the last 5 years, is why we're changing the industry. And I guess to answer the question as to why people should join, if you look at statistics that are commonplace in our industry, we are looking at a massive shortfall here in the next 5 to 7 years of advisors in our country. We're looking at about a 220,000 agent shortfall by the year 2022. And so that's the need has never been greater. You look at all the agents that are going to be retiring in the next 5 to 7 years versus all the agents that are being onboarded. It's not even close to bridging the gap there. So there's a massive need for new advisors at this time.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So is WFG just for financial services agents?
No, absolutely not. It's also for insurance agents and people who just want to work on the fixed side. There's a multitude of different companies that we work with on the fixed side as well.
Okay.
Insurance side.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I've checked out WFG, and definitely the Innovative Agent is working with the WFG organization. We're part of it, and David's in our upline, and we're going to talk a little bit about that when we get to the latter part of this video. So let's look at the WFG opportunity as to who could really benefit from this. And I broke it down into 4 different categories of people that I believe are ripe for the opportunity to work with WFG. The first group of people are the new insurance agents. Coast to coast, there are insurance agents filling these test centers wanting to get into the insurance business because, as I keep saying, the insurance business is the great last frontier because you can make not only great money and really help people do do good service for other people, but the residual income is very incredible if you leverage it correctly. But for the new agent, what I like about WFG is you have an organization that's layered that helps you out. When a lot of agents come into the business, whether you're a life agent or maybe a health agent or even some financial services agents, they just don't have leadership helping them out. And you need that leadership to help you and guide you and take you under their wing sometimes. And I've never seen a better organization than WFG that does exactly that. So tell us about some of the other benefits that new agents would get out of working with WFG.
Well, typically what you see with your agency models that are standard in our industry is your leaders are vested in your limited success. Meaning there's only room at the top for X amount of people, or there's only one regional manager for your area or one field manager. And so your opportunity for growth is rather limited. And if you end up being a superstar, you do incredibly well with your agency, well, that doesn't make your leaders very happy because they've either just trained their replacement or they've trained their competition. Mm-hmm. So neither of those outcomes are very favorable to them. Yeah. So in that kind of agency model, it's just very different from how we do it. One of the great things about WFG is we are vested in your unlimited success. Meaning that we're able to build out our own agencies, and we're able to override our downline for the remainders of our career. They never leave us, and we're constantly able to have a perpetual override in that regard. So you always have these leaders within your company that are always vested in your unlimited success.
Yep, absolutely. And that's well said, because, me as a general agent, I recruit agents all the time.
Right.
And the 80-20 rule, it applies to so many things universally in this world. And when it comes to new agents, it's not the exception. 20% of the agents write 80% of the business.
Right.
So what's going on with the other 80% of the agents? Well, I would argue that they're not getting the support net that WFG affords them. So unfortunately, that's the insurance world we live in. Most agents come in and they'll hang in there for a while, and then they'll fade away. WFG provides such a strong safety net that if you're a new agent coming on board and you're partnering with WFG, you definitely are at a big advantage, because you have that safety net there that most other agents don't have. So that's the first group. Here's the second group of people that I think would benefit the most from WFG agent. Whoops. Let me say that again. Here's the second group of people that I think that would really benefit by working with WFG, and that is those agents that are looking for a career change or maybe a career modification. So let me explain. For some insurance agents in some industries, there's a lot of regulation going on that's causing all sorts of turmoil. And I'll use health insurance agents, for example. With the advent of Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act, let's say, the regulations are putting a lot of downward pressure inherently on agent commissions.
Right.
We're seeing waves of lower commissions for selling health insurance all the time. And in some states now, the agents aren't even being paid for selling health insurance. So if you're an agent that's stuck in that scenario, I believe that working with WFG and making that little bit of a pivot and working with their organization and widening what you're doing, selling the life insurance products or the IULs or some of the other great products that's offered by WFG, you can shield yourself from some of that storm. And then, of course, there are captive agents. Tell us about how captive agents could really benefit from making a career change and working with WFG.
Sure. Well, most of the captive agents that I've spoken to, they basically have a career and they have a book of business that if they want to go elsewhere with that, they cannot take that with them. Their book of business, their clientele, it belongs to the firm, to that company. That is not their business. That's not a book of business that they own. Also, when you're in a captive situation, let's say you have a client that might be more of an adverse risk for getting life insurance. If your company declines them, you're out of luck with that client. You have no other options. We, on the other hand, have over 120 different companies that we work with, and usually we can find a fit for that client in the life insurance industry. So being independent, being free to choose, there's a lot of power there. Whereas with your captive agent, you only have one company to pick from, and it really reduces what you can do.
Yep, it absolutely does. And there are other negatives to being a captive agent, and I'm not picking on those agents that are in captive organizations. Some of those organizations are really awesome. They're great companies. It's just the structure of being a captive agent is what it is. And certainly for captive agents, when you do want to change and make a career change outside of that organization, what's the big drawback?
You have to start over.
You got to start all over.
Hit the reset button.
Yeah, your book of business is left behind. So it's just like you started all over in the insurance business. So that's the second group of people that we think would be a great fit for joining WFG. I just about hit that one, but Ryan got in the way. Thanks, Ryan. Third group of people that I believe WFG is a great fit for. And that's for those people that have always wanted to start an insurance agency, to really leverage the income, or to modify their agency because, they just need to make some changes. So let's start with those that have always wanted to start their own agency. David, how would WFG be a fit for them?
Be a great fit for them because, like I mentioned before, there's no territorial restrictions. They're able to expand nationwide, and also there's no brick and mortar required. Your overhead is basically what you make it. So you don't have to have an office set up. You don't have to have, all this overhead and all these startup costs associated with this agency. So that's very advantageous, especially for new agents who want to start an agency, or for existing agents that are maybe in a captive situation that want to start their own agency. Usually the cost is very cost prohibitive to start up their own agency, and we remove those barriers for them.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And a lot of agencies have so many headaches, it's hard to number all of them, but I'll give you one example that affects me, because we pay about directly 40 or 50 different agents, and my wife is the bookkeeper. And she spends the whole month just working on commission splits and sending their commissions out to them. And with WFG, you're working for all of these insurance companies, writing all their different products, and then at the end of the year, you get one 1099. You're done.
That's it.
It's unbelievable. What if you're an agency that wants to make a little bit of a tweak? Anything different there you'd want to tell us?
Really, if somebody's, let's say they're in a health insurance agency or a PNC agency, something in that realm, you're really not having to learn a new set of skills. This is a very parallel industry to what you are already in. And so a lot of the concepts, a lot of those sales concepts are exactly the same. And you are free to plug into our agency model on the financial services side without any ramifications for your existing agencies that you are running. Put them side by side.
So the opportunity to start or modify an agency is probably one of the most powerful models there is in the insurance industry, and WFG really has the best model that I've seen, and I've been in the industry for quite a while. So that's the third group that I think could be greatly helped with WFG.
Anxious to see if you hit Ryan with this one.
Ooh. Came up short because I thought he was going to bat at it. Okay. The fourth group, and no one can really explain this better sitting at this table than you can. The fourth group that I think WFG is the best fit for is your average entrepreneur. These are the people that listen to podcasts all day long, working a job, thinking, man, how can I be an entrepreneur? Or some of you may listen to EO Fire or some of the other ones that give you all these encouraging programs and words and programs to step out and say, hey, let's get out of your job paradigm. I always call it job, J-O-B, just over broke, and move into the entrepreneurial side. But it's not just those people. You have people that are entrepreneurs that own businesses that are interested in getting into the WFG opportunity. And the door's wide open. So David, speaking of that, why don't you tell us how you were introduced and what you were doing when you learned about WFG, and then maybe tell us about some of the people that's in your downline that may fit the scenario.
Yeah, well, just to tell you a little bit about my story and my background, I never went to college. I was homeschooled all throughout high school, and right when I turned 18, I started working in IT. I moved to Indianapolis. I grew up in Michigan. I moved right to Indianapolis, and I worked in IT for about 3.5 years. And after that, I got married, started to settle down in mid-Michigan, and I worked in manufacturing for 6.5 years. I was a project manager. I basically managed a small machine shop in Bridgeport, Michigan, and we also put a lot of parts through there for wheelchairs, and there's a lot of metal work involved. So I was strictly a blue-collar worker. I just got up 5:30. I was actually at the shop at 5:30 in the morning, getting up at 4:30 every single day, working 10 hours. And I had no background in insurance. I had no background in financial services. And this opportunity came along at the very end of 2012 for me. And it took a few months for it to really sink in, but I was always looking for ways to expand and improve. I was always promoted within 90 days every time I got a new job. Every time I worked for a new company, I was always getting promoted. But then I'd realize I could only get so far in the companies I was in.
Yep.
So I was a project manager, and the only way I was going to get a promotion is if the owner died or retired. That was the only way I was going to get to go up from there, and I had to find something else. So this opportunity came along where I was able to be compensated based on what I could do and what my production would allow for. So I was very intrigued by having no ceiling and being able to be an entrepreneur and being in this industry because the need is so great. And like I mentioned before, there's just a massive need, especially for young advisors right now. There's more advisors right now over the age of 70 than there are under the age of 30.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So the need for young advisors and for really entrepreneurs of any age are very important. And because of our unique training and leadership and mentoring model that we have, I was able to go from a guy just making parts, running a belt sander all day, every single day, to running my own office here within 2 years.
Amazing.
So you don't see that very often in the industry.
Nope.
And that's my office. I run that. I have full control of that. I have full control over everything that goes on in that office. I pay the rent on it. That's my office. So this is not something that was given to me because I joined the firm. That's something that I put together on my own. And just to give you a little history about some of the people that I brought on board, I have a gentleman that he owns 3 different companies right now. He's a very blue collar guy, but he's always looking for opportunities to grow and always looking for other business opportunities where he can expand his opportunity. And that's exactly what he's done. He's joined our firm and he's come on board with us, and he's looking for ways to basically expand his cash flow and create a passive income stream with our agency. And I also have people with political backgrounds, people that helped out with presidential campaigns. I have people that have 20 years of tax experience. I have people that have been in the health insurance industry. Just about any kind of mix of blue and white collar backgrounds you could imagine are joining our firm right now because of our unique mentoring and leadership program and the income opportunity that we have.
We're one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Any business owners? Let's come on board with you.
Quite a few. Yeah, I'm a gentleman that owns 3 businesses. I have another one that owns another business on the side, and they're constantly looking to expand and develop, and they're kind of leaning on me for a lot of the administrative side of things because they're not very familiar with the industry, but they recognize an opportunity when they see it, and they're jumping into it.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So, David, you're growing your own agency. So you went from blue collar to getting into the insurance business. To now growing your own insurance agency without having accountants, a big staff, some receptionist at the front door, no chief cook and bottle washer, none of that stuff going on.
No.
And David actually is helping the innovative agent. He's in my upline. And we have future videos that will explain more about the WFG opportunity that will clarify some of that. But David drove a couple hours over to Cadillac here to our office to help us with the structuring of how we're going to grow our WFG audience. And hopefully you'll be one of them that will come and partner with us as we reach out to agents across the United States. But that's just the beauty of what WFG does. People dedicated to developing other people, and everybody wins. It's a truly remarkable model. David, before we wrap up, do you have any further things you'd like to throw in about WFG?
Well, we just be excited to bring anyone we can on board. You know, if you're looking for an opportunity, if you want to grow your business, or if you want to expand what you can do for your clients, we'd be happy to have a conversation with you and help you move forward. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, we have more information that we'll have posted on our site about WFG, and certainly this is one of the earlier videos. We have a number of different videos explaining the opportunity that's coming up, as well as what you can do to onboard with us and what we can do to help you to grow your opportunity with the World Financial Group. So thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you soon.